Do you enjoy traveling, history, or an insight into different interesting cultures perhaps? If your answer is yes to at least one of these questions, then welcome to Trip Across Dublin. The city of Dublin is situated at the eastern bay of Ireland, facing the Irish Sea, with a population of approximately 1.2 million people. The capital of Ireland occupies a land area of roughly 117 square kilometers, making it the largest city in Ireland. The first place of our journey will be the Trinity College. This neoclassical historical building was founded by Queen Elizabeth I in 1592. It is a sister college to both Cambridge and Oxford universities. The library of Trinity College is a majestic place with more or less 7 million printed volumes and a significant quantities of manuscripts. It serves as a legal deposit library for both Ireland and Great Britain. The Dublin Writers' Museum occupies an original building from the 18th century and accommodates a library, administration area, gallery and museum rooms. It was established to promote interest in Irish literature as a whole and in the lives and works of individual Irish writers. It functions as a place where people can visit from Dublin, Ireland and abroad to experience the phenomenon of Irish writing, both as a history and an actuality. Dublin Castle is a major Irish government complex of a great historical value. Most of the current construction comes from the 18th century, although the castle itself has stood on the site since the days of King John, dating back into the early 13th century. It served as a seat of the British government's administration in Ireland until 1922. Currently, it is a place for hosting official state visits, as well as a beautiful place to visit as a tourist. When talking about places of great historical value, we cannot forget about the St. Patrik Cathedral, which was founded in 1191 by the Roman Catholic Church. In the present day, it is the national cathedral of the Church of Ireland. It was named after St. Patrik, the patron and a saint of Ireland. Epic Immigration Museum is a place where you will discover what it means to be Irish through stories of Irish immigrants who became scientists, poets, politicians, artists, or even outlaws all over the world. A famine memorial standing on the Customs House Quay is a remembrance of the tragic Great Famine that occurred in 1845 and halved the country population through death and emigration. Closely tied to the famine is the Jeannie Johnston, a replica of a ship that functions as an ocean-going sail training vessel, but in port it converts into a living history museum of the 19th century immigration. Oscar Wilde, one of the greatest Victorian playwrights' home, is yet another interesting place to visit. He spent his formative years in this Dublin home. His colourful statue still looks from across the street on his Merrion Square perch. Depending from what angle you look at it, it either smirks or frowns at you. You surely know the story of Gulliver's Travels, one of the most prominent satirical fantasy story in the world. What you probably don't know is that the author, Jonathan Swift, born and raised in Dublin, has multiple memorials dedicated to him across Dublin, such as the bust or an epitaph situated in St. Patrick's Cathedral. Many famous names have made it to the Dublin so-called Hall of Fame in various forms. Another one that we will mention is George Bernard Shaw, an Irish comic, dramatic and literary critic who influenced the Western theatre, culture and politics remarkably. He was even winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1925. His statue stands by the entrance of the National Gallery of Ireland. Another major and widely acclaimed as the most famous Irish writer, James Joyce, is immortalized in a brass, life-sized statue on the North Earl Street. The story of his most famous works are set in Dublin, making him a great candidate to be honored by Dubliners. He even has a whole museum dedicated and named after him, which can be found not far from the mentioned statue. If you are more inspired by modern pieces of art, you might find the walk across Samuel Beckett's Bridge quite enjoyable, especially at night. This beautiful architecture gives the historical infrastructure of the city a fresh breath of modernity. Feeling hungry after a long day of discovering the not only historical wonders of Dublin? A traditional and delicious food from Irish kitchen might help you with that. Beef stew is traditionally made with mutton, but in Ireland it is now commonly found using both lamb or beef. Not hungry anymore? How about a quick dance? The Irish culture is known for its unusual but eye-catching traditional dance, especially on festivals and St. Patrick's Day. Sadly, for those who are interested, Irish step dancing is extremely difficult to learn, but don't let that discourage you. The linen diving cap was a quite popular headwear choice for men during its time. Even today, you will definitely see some while walking the streets of Dublin. Did you know that the Scandinavian Vikings also influenced the course of Irish history? They began raiding Ireland at around 800 AD. And besides blending their DNA within the Irish population, one of the settlements established by them in time evolved into a beautiful city. The city is today known as Dublin.